Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing great today. In today's lesson, we're going to look at user profile. In our previous lessons, we talked about controlling user access, right? And today we want to look at user profile. What is a user profile? A user profile is a named set of resource limits and password parameters that restrict database usage and database instance resources for a user. I'll try to break this down, under two subtopics. Now, the first one is resource limits, and then the second one is password parameters. Those are the two keywords in my definition. Let me start with explaining the first one, resource limits. Now, under resource limits, you'd see things like idle time, okay? Now, I'll give you a simple illustration. If a user logs into the database, for instance, and does not do anything, does not click the mouse, does not execute any query, you know that that user is actually consuming system resources, right? And is not actually doing anything. In fact, some people can log into the database and go out and drink coffee. So if you do not put in place certain restrictions, to deal with such scenario, you actually end up using more resources for your database. So this parameter known as idle time, for instance, can be set to maybe 15 minutes. So if a user session stays idle for 15 minutes, the person's session is automatically logged out of the system. And that way, more resources will be freed back to the database. Now, that's the brief explanation for resource limits. Now, another thing the user profile seeks to do, is to check password parameters. Now, you might have observed in some corporate organizations, if you use a certain password for up to 30 days or 60 days, depending on the policy of the organization, you start getting a prompt that your password is about to expire. You need to change your password in so number of days. These are the kind of things you see under password parameters. As a DBA, when working with profiles, you see parameters like password aging and expiration, account locking, password history, password complexity verification, and all whatnot. Now, we'll take our time to explain all of this in details, by the time we go into our exercises. I just wanted to give you a brief overview, of what user profile is all about. Now, by default, when you create a user, that user will be assigned the default profile. That's if you don't specify another profile, right? The user will be assigned the default profile. However, if you want to change the profile for any user, you either specify it at the time of creation, or you can alter that user's profile and assign a new profile to the user. Again, all of this we're going to experiment as we do our exercise, right? Now, you can create profiles in two ways. You can create a common profile or a local profile. The common profile is created in the root container and applies to all other containers as long as you use the container equal all clause. And then the local profile is specific to a particular pluggable database. For purpose of this lecture, we're going to restrict ourselves with the local profile, right? So everything we're going to be doing about user profile will be local. We'll restrict it to a specific pluggable database. Now, let us consider the password parameters in details. The first one we'll look at is account locking. Now, what does this do? This enables automatic locking of your accounts for a set duration, when user fails to log into the system in the specified number of attempts, or when account sits inactive for a predefined number of days. All right. Now, under this, you could have parameters like failed _login _attempts, password _lock _time, inactive _account _time. Let me just pull out a notepad and then try to put down some of these things so you get to understand. So the first one, we'll be looking at failed underscore login underscore attempt. And then the next one will be password underscore lock underscore time, right? And then the next one will be inactive underscore account underscore time. Now let's look at the failed login attempts. Now what does this do? It specifies the number of failed login attempts before the lockout of the account. Now again, if you've observed certain systems you are signed into or certain systems you log into, and then you input your password, maybe a wrong password for a specified number of times, maybe 3 or 5 times. What you observe is the next time you try to log in, they tell you your account has been locked. It's because you've actually exceeded the number of attempts to log in with your correct password. So when you put in your password for maybe 3 or 5 times, depending on the policy of the company, then your account gets locked. Now for this one, password underscore lock underscore time, okay, it specifies the number of days for which the account is locked after the specified number of failed login attempts. Okay, now for some systems, they could say that after your account has been locked for so number of minutes, you won't be able to log into your account, or for so number of days, you won't be able to log into your account, right? So that's just what this password underscore lock underscore time does for you. As a DBA, you need to know all of these things. Now for the inactive account underscore time, it actually specifies the number of days an account can be inactive before it is locked. So let's say you've not logged into your system for like 60 days or 90 days. Your account could be locked. It shows that you've been away for a very long time. So depending on the company policy, again, depending on your company policy, you could specify this in number of days, maybe 30, 90, 60 days, as the case may be, right? And then the next one we're going to look at is password aging and expiration. Yeah, password aging and expiration. And then under this, we should have parameters like password underscore life underscore time, right? And then we should also have password underscore grace underscore time. So I'll quickly explain what these parameters do. Now for this one, password underscore life underscore time, it actually determines the lifetime of the password in days, okay, after which the password expires. So if you set your password to expire for 60 days, for instance, from maybe 10 days or 7 days to expiration, you start getting a prompt that in 7 days, your password will expire. In 5 days, your password will expire. In 3 days, your password will expire. So you start getting all of those prompts, okay? And then for this one, password underscore grace underscore time, it specifies a grace period in days for changing the password after the first successful login. That's after your password has expired. So at the time your password expires, you are given a grace period, maybe like 3 days or 5 days more to change your password before your password expires. So at the expiration of your password, if you are able to log in successfully, you won't be able to do that for more than 3 or 5 days, depending on the company policy again. And then the next one we are going to look at, under password parameters, is password history checks. And under this, you have parameters like password underscore, password underscore reuse underscore time. And then you have parameters like password underscore reuse underscore max. And then you also have parameters like password underscore verify underscore function. Okay, so let's look at what each of these parameters do. Now, the password underscore reuse underscore time specifies that a user cannot reuse a password for a given number of days. So let's say, for instance, your password expires, okay, and you want to change your password. You cannot use a password that you've used before. Depending on the value that is set for this parameter, it could be 120 days, it could be 365 days, okay, it could be 180 days. So if you want to use an old password that you used before, depending on the value of this parameter, you may not be allowed to use that password. You may be forced to use another password, right? And then for this one, password underscore reuse underscore max, it specifies the number of password changes that are required before the current password can be reused. I guess I don't need to explain that. And then for the password underscore verify underscore function, now it checks for password complexity. I'll give you a simple example. Have you tried registering in any system, and then you try to create a password and they tell you your password is too simple. So because of that, you were not able to create your account. Now that's because of this password underscore verify underscore function. And then you want to create a password. They tell you you must have a capital letter. It must not be less than 8 characters long. It must contain special characters and numbers. So these are all of the things that are made possible by this parameter, password underscore verify underscore function. Well, like I said, by the time we go into the practical session, we'll get to understand all of these things, right? Okay, guys, so let's head on to our lab and then try to see what we can do with our exercises, right? So I just quickly minimize this and then you can see that I'm already on my SQL developer. Now, because I don't want to make this lecture too long, I've taken my time to script some of these queries. I'll go over them and explain them one after another, right? So as usual, what we'll try to do is to show our current container by using the command show con underscore name. So if I execute this, you can see I'm in the root container, right? And I told you that for whatever profile we want to create for this lecture, we'll be creating a local profile. And it has to be specific to a pluggable database, right? So to do that, all we need to do is to use the alter session command, alter session set container equal to ORCL PDB. That's the pluggable database we'll be working with. You can move to any pluggable database if you have more than one in your database. If you have more than one in your container, that's fine. Okay, so I'll quickly execute this. You can see that the session has been altered, right? To confirm, you run the query again, show con underscore name. And then you can see that we are now in the pluggable database ORCL PDB, right? So let's execute this query and then see what it does. It says select all from DBA underscore profiles where profile is equal to default. So we want to see the details of the default profile. Remember, this is a dictionary, data dictionary, right? So I'll quickly execute this. And then these are all of the values for the default profile. So if you come here and then see from number 10, failed underscore login attempts, okay, the resource type is password and then you have the value as 10. So this means that if someone fails to log in after 10 attempts using the wrong password, it means the person's account will be locked, right? And then the password underscore life underscore time is about 180 days. And then all of these ones are unlimited, null. So these are the default values, and this is what we want to change. So as a DBA, you can actually create your own profile and modify these values if you want, right? So let me quickly clear this query result, and then try to create a profile and impute my own values, right? So we are creating a profile called test profile. So the syntax is very simple: create profile, test profile, and then you use this word limit. And then the sessions per user, you can see, is unlimited. But let me change this to 5. So a user cannot open more than 5 sessions concurrently, right? If you leave it at unlimited, it means one particular user can open 1 million sessions, and this will be consuming database resources, right? So failed underscore login underscore attempts is 10. So this is just a simple syntax to create a profile. So let me quickly execute this. So profile, test profile has been created. Let's confirm. To confirm, we'll run this query, select all from DBA underscore profiles where profile is equal to upper test profile. Remember, we are using this function to convert this to uppercase so we can find it in the data dictionary. Remember, data in the dictionary is stored in capital letters. So I'll execute this. And then we can see the details for the profile. See all of the details and all of the parameters. So we have our profile now. The next thing we want to do is to create a user and assign the profile to that user. So let me quickly clear this and this. Now the syntax to create a user says create user Darima identified by Darima. Profile is test profile. So we are assigning the test profile at once to the user. Now, if I don't specify this word, if I don't specify this, and we just execute this query, we'll be able to create the user. But what will happen is that the user will inherit the default profile. And we don't want that to happen. We want the user to inherit the profile we've just created. So I have to specify profile and then the name of the new profile we created. So let me quickly execute this. User Darima created. Now I'm going to grant this user some privileges. Okay, grant create session, create table, unlimited table space to Darima. Grant succeeded. And then if I say select all from DBA underscore users where username is equal to upper Darima, let's see what happens. So user has been created. And then you can see the account status is open. Now this is what I want you to see. The profile is test profile, right? So guys, this is how you create a profile. You can modify a user that was created with the default profile. You can just, all you need to do is to alter the user and assign whatever profile you want to assign to the user. So this is just a brief example to show you how to create a profile. In my next example, we're going to look at some more lessons on user profiles, and then we'll look at the password verify function as well. We'll look at all of those parameters. Guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was interesting to you. If it was, kindly like it and share it widely. And most importantly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out whenever I upload another valuable content. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.